That's a
So
sick
get them.
idea.
This will get them on the boat.
See, this is why I love bringing fresh blood into Blades in the Dark. You never know what they will think of. Yeah. Hey, look, when I got my IRL group friend to play Blades in the Dark, one of them literally started playing Dr. Frankenstein. He had a horrible stitch-together monster pet, and that. Ladies and gentlemen, after a long hiatus, welcome back to Duskwall. Welcome back to Blades in the Dark. Welcome back to this cult performing a theatrical piece? What? Yes. So before we jump in, though, I would like to inform everyone that the previous VODs for our Blades in the Dark campaign have been uploaded to Zalkarin's YouTube channel. If you're new to the stream, or you just want to go back and relive some good old times before we all inevitably die in this episode, feel free to jump back and give those a watch. Otherwise, where last we left off, does anyone want to do a recap, or should I just recite what I remember?
Feel free.
No.
By all means, good sir.
I mean, if Xanax wants to, go ahead.
I was gonna give like a very brief summary from what I remember.
Hey, player interaction is great. Go for it, my man.
So I remember that once we start the show, a dude on a gondola was eyeing us up. Couldn't really see him because he was very far away. Whatever our actress name is, and our local clown man did a show, and we're doing pretty well with it. And Zhao had an interaction with an old friend of his, who is also... Are they Whisper or whatever? I don't know what they are. It had some supernatural stuff starting to happen. The GM wants to fill any of the gaps that would work.
Yes. So, yes. The play in question that is being performed that I mentioned earlier, and Xanax mentioned, is a sort of not really a full play, if I remember correctly. It's more like a series of pieces and little shorts being portrayed mostly by Arzu herself, with a little bit of help from our local clown and your character as well, Xanax, to great effect, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And essentially, the idea behind it is they are luring in all of these people, all these audience members to this play and sort of then kind of weaning in and out of the crowd, kind of whispering, hey, you want to make some money? Want to do a thing on a Leviathan ship? And kind of planting seeds of, I could really, you go for a job, sort of, to recruit for the Mercurial, Captain Gabor's Leviathan Hunter, I believe owned by the... Let me check my notes here on them again. Penderin, that was it. Owned by the Penderin family. Essentially, giving that a crew so it can go about and continue its duties. With the idea, of course, among that being some of these crew members they recruit will be indoctrinated, perhaps, into the cult is the way to put it. And from there, aboard the Mercurial, they will spread the religion of the council, of the Harrowed Council, as they're out at sea. A sort of almost like investment is a good way to put it, I think. You drop like 5 cultists in on a Leviathan ship, and they exponentially grow over time into 20 plus. But that assumes everything is going well. There has been some arcane interference, and there continues to be some sort of strange vibes in the air moving forward, to the point where our resident strange arcane lady, Songbird Viper, which I do not remember who it was at the moment.
Songbird.
It is Songbird right now. And she has come into contact with one of her old friends, her closest friend, the Warlock Dominix. And that is where we cut a meeting between the two and a recognition between the two. And where we will reopen again. Now, to really describe Dominix, she is a lean woman, I think. Maybe not very tall, but has a bit of height on her. But her appearance is largely concealed by her fanciful sort of dress gown with hood and this large mask she has on her face. And even though the eye holes on it are big and wide, and you should be able to see through them, it's just pitch black whenever anyone gazes into them. Very strange indeed. Perhaps mystical. And of course, Songbird, you would know that to be the case. This is Dominix's spirit mask that she wears. And although you can't see her face, you get the impression that you get the feeling that she's smiling at you just by the tone she had greeted you with previously. So, how would you proceed?
Songbird would be surprised. She had no idea that she'd be around. There was nothing really that made sense for her to be around for a play show performance and, undercover recruiting soiree. So her being here, especially conveniently after Songbird flexed some supernatural affinity. So she, maybe she's still holding maybe like some flyers in another hand, work business, the scrappy business cards, and knits her hands together with them to get with the flyers in their palms. Oh, wow! I'm sorry. I didn't expect you to be here. How are you, good friend?
Well, I've been doing rather nicely, dear Songbird. I saw that you were performing a play here, and I thought I'd stop by and have a gander at your little soiree.
Oh, it's a really pleasant play. They're very good at it. I don't have the knack for that type of talent. But you can see them just over there on the stage. They're winning the crowd over with their performance. I think one of them has done this before or something.
Well, I've been watching, though I've been far more interested in listening to your friends as they talk to the audience amongst themselves. Not what they're saying on stage, but what they're saying as they wander about. What are you up to, little bird?
Well, what do you mean? Do you think I'm mischievous or something? Oh, come on, you know better. That's not me, that's the other person.
Fair enough, fair enough. What are your friends up to, then?
We're just showing them what we're about, and if anybody would be kind enough to join in our beliefs and to see the way of the Harrowed Council,
I see. Interesting there. I'm talking a good deal about being workers on a Leviathan hunter.
What? What do you mean?
Oh, little bird. You sing so beautifully, but lie so poorly. I hear what they're saying.
Oh, is it that obvious? I'm sorry for being so blatant. I hope the others don't. I hope the rest of the audience doesn't see that much. People really have a terrible perception when they really understood.
I wouldn't worry about that, little bird. I simply have a way with these things, as you know. But I must also say that they are not the only ones I've seen here tonight.
Oh, the musical ones, the ones in the water? Is that what you mean?
No, the gondoliers are a problem, perhaps, but the one I'm more concerned about is standing on the fringe over there. And she gestures towards the far right of the crowd, past all of the people. You would have to stand on your tippy toes and really glance past them to be able to see them yourself. But on the outskirts of the group, sort of eyeing the crowd, sort of eyeing through it, perhaps pacing up and down a little bit, looking around, is a well-dressed Akarosi man. Kind of a what I'm looking for here. A heavy brow is sort of what he has. Heavy brow, very frustrated look to him. Almost caveman-like in appearance, I think would be the way to sort of describe him. Despite his, well-dressed finery, he has, very broad features about him. Very wide hands, very large feet, kind of a jutting jaw. He's well-groomed and advanced and whatnot, but none of it really manages to detract from this almost primitive appearance he has about him. And you recognize this man as well, Songbird. This is Resh.
She holds her hand up to her mouth. Oh dear, why is he here?
Likely looking for you, I fear, but I'm not sure if he's managed to find you yet.
Oh, that would be not good.
Yes.
He's rather obsessive, this one. He's really fixated on Viper.
That he is, and truly not in any sort of good way. Or, to be fair, I'm rather put off by his presence myself, but I could not simply leave you to have to try and deal with him on your own.
Oh no!
Unaware,
if
uninformed.
If he tears Viper from me, who knows what terrible things he would do? And I'd be powerless to stop him. I'm weak without her. I can't do anything without Viper. Oh no, this is really bad. Please, we have to stop him. We have to get him out of here.
Do not doubt yourself so harshly, little bird, but yes, I do agree that there is a problem afoot. I would recommend talking with your friends. I'll do what I can to help, but I'd rather not deal with him myself either.
Oh, okay. And she seems like really nervous, like maybe like the right eye twitches a little bit. All right, yes, no, I understand. Thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping by and letting me know.
She nods and sort of backs away further into the crowd herself, glancing in Resh's direction once again, though she doesn't seem to have much of an issue with having to look past the crowd like you were, and not just because of her height either. But she vanishes into the crowd, and what is it Songbird does next?
She maybe like looks at like a clock or something somewhere, and is like just counting down the minutes until was it Ketsia? Ketsia? Ketsia. Yeah, Ketsiel. Ketsiel. Man, I was pronouncing that way wrong. Sorry. I'm still getting used to the names.
Think nothing of it.
Until Ketzel shows up. Because it's like the other two are performing, and like, as in typical Blade fashions, there's probably some plan with Ketzel in terms of their delay. So she's just like, waiting anxiously for them to like show up and be in position to maybe present the problem.
Yeah. So, with that said, Ketchel, I think this would be a good time for you to show up, unless anyone else would like to take a moment to address a situation at hand with their character before.
Not really. I could do mine in flashbacks, so.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Bartholomew, you have anything?
Yes.
Yes.
So I want to, in between one of the skits that my friend and I accidentally closed Roll20, but in between one of the skits, I'm gonna go up to the front of the stage, and I'm gonna stand up there. I'm gonna say to the crowd, what was the reason behind the clown throwing his clock out of the window? He wanted to see whether time flies. And then I start heading off to let the actors get back on for the next bit.
Damn it. Yeah. Yes. The crowd chuckles and laughs at your joke.
I'm willing to make a
Yeah, no, hold on. There was something.
Just for
Yes.
flavor.
Yes, there was something for. I recall. Let me have a look here.
Well,
Yes, I believe it was sway rolls. What we? Yes,
What we decided was what I was going to use.
yes. Go ahead and make that roll there. If I remember correctly, these sway rolls sort of determine how many people found it funny.
I assume this is like controlled limited or something.
Game. Oh right, yeah. Oh, controlled standard, I'd say.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Solid. Yeah,
Oh.
solid.
The joke lands.
The joke does land. I'm gonna say like I managed to convince enough people to sort of hang around further that you're able to get like one additional dot on the convinced clock right here. Just because the 6 manages to impress
I'll
me a
take
little
that.
bit there.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Perhaps doesn't make so much sense, but I can see the logic behind it, and it is 1 dot. But for moving forward, Getzel, you arrive at the play, probably from the opposite side that Resh was standing on, which would be, interestingly enough, the side that you'd be able to get a view of the gondola from if you were to look out at sea, and the man pulling himself out of the water and back into the boat.
All right. And so is this something that I would be able to notice from my late arrival, perhaps, or is this something that like it would be somewhat obvious to me as I arrive? Yes.
If you were looking around, yes. I'm going to leave it up to you whether or not you notice this striped shirt, large brimmed hat man in the water. Whether or not you whether or not you glance out at the ocean or not.
Normally I would say so here. Let me see here. Can I just make a fortune hunt roll or a study roll for it, or survey? I mean, I know.
Go for
I know my
that.
actions.
Makes sense to me.
All right, I'm just gonna make just a normal fortune roll for survey, just to kind of see how much yes or no. 3. I would say something of the sort is noticed out of the corner of Katsiel's eye. He doesn't really pay it too much heed, though. But it's there, but nothing major. Let's say no fine details. Let's put it that way.
All right, that sounds reasonable to me. So, Ketchel, what is your appearance? What is your job here? What is the purpose of your late arrival?
That's a very good question. Do you have any other good questions? Forgive.
Got him.
Seriousness, though. I would imagine that Ketzel's late arrival, shall we say, was mainly due to a particularly grim series of meditations prior to the group's departure. He was tied down with it for a bit of time into his own mind here, perhaps. But sufficiently having meditated his way through it all, he hath continued along to locate his comrades and see how things go. Perhaps from within the side of the crowd, I would imagine. Nothing too center as of yet here, but, getting an idea for where everyone stands on things here, keeping survey of the place, shall we say.
Sorry, so run that by me one more time, I'm afraid.
So Katsiel stuck meditating, done meditating, arrived, and just kind of milling about for the moment here, just kind of keeping a low profile. Let's put it that way.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. And I imagine Songbird will attempt to approach and...
As soon as it seems reasonable that I can find him. It's like I don't
wouldn't
like
say
if I don't know what he's wearing or anything, like depending on how much that was, like if any of it was like left behind for info, like be a little tricky. But like whenever it's reasonable, the like be like, oh, there he is. Yeah, she'd work her way through the crowd real quick to him.
I'd imagine that Quetzal pretty much always wears the same outfit, something to that effect. Maybe not exactly, but if you know what he looks like, he sticks out pretty badly. Always the same sort of like, dark jacket, always the same red tie, always something to that effect here.
Okay. Fair.
So he's not like super obvious, but he's not like super hidden either. He's not really hard to pick out if you know what he looks like.
All right, yeah. Then she approaches rather hurriedly, maybe like has emptied her hand of pamphlets, and it's just, oh, you're here. I'm so glad. How are you? It's like nervous smile.
He kind of like regards her a little bit cautiously, but gives her like a slight bow of like humble respect in the process. Forgive me, my meditations were filled with foul portents, but I have arrived.
Oh, that sounds really bad. There's things are kind of happening here. The two of them are doing really well. As you can see, they're very pleasant and putting on quite a good performance. But I have a bit of a problem myself. As someone, she points the man out, an individual familiar with me and the other me is here, and he would be after me if he catches sight of me. Do you think you could make him leave, please?
He kind of like looks at her, taking all of this in. And how large of a problem would this man be to you?
Well, if he gets his hands on me, there won't be a mistress anymore. Looks at him very kind of pale face and serious.
Has he caught sight of you as of yet?
No.
Then this will be easy. Real quick here, just to kind of make sure I didn't misunderstand anything. This was the same gentleman that was proceeding his way towards the gondola here, yes?
No, this is a different gentleman. As long as we would have likely motioned you to the other side of the.
Oh, the gentleman in the side of the.
The Neanderthal one.
Yeah. Okay.
The well-groomed
sure.
caveman.
Just making sure I got things right. Yes, Monkey.
He's a detective from Ace Attorney.
Quetzal kind of nods. I will keep him in check, but this may get loud.
Only if it has to. This is still kind of a special thing that where our name's attached to a lot of what goes on here. We don't want things to go like that. We're just trying to get some people to join the good word of the council and everything. So I mean, at least try to get him off to an alley. If you need help from me or other me, just whistle.
He kind of like nods. Understood. But action and reaction, little wing. If he moves on you, I will move on him.
Oh, sure. Yes, of course. Thank you.
Quetzal kind of like just turns about and just like slowly stalks his way over towards the other side. Not too close, but just somewhere where I can mill about within the crowd, but still keep an eye on Monkey.
Monkey?
Monkey.
Monkey.
Like donkey, but not quite as fun to say.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bust through the door like Shrek. Oh, hello there.
Oh, that was beautiful. Oh my god. Oh wow. I'm actually in awe of that impression. That was perfect.
If he loses
thank you.
If he gets lost in his vice, I'll be the next character.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, let me go kill off Quetzal this session so I can switch to playing an ogre. Ogres have layers. But
that was less impressive.
That was quite patently awful. But besides,
no, moving on. However, as you approach, like how you're walking towards them, yes, but you're keeping out of sight, as I understood it.
Yeah, just keeping a couple people between point A and point B, but just somewhere where we can keep an eye on him. More importantly, see if he's keeping an eye on the mistress.
Well, he hasn't. Well, based on what you were told and from what you can see, he doesn't seem to have spotted her yet. Though, no doubt he is still. Well, obviously, he is still attempting to.
Certainly, that's fair.
As you get closer and sort of part the crowd out of your line of sight of him, you notice that he has a small box in his left hand. And he's tapping on it, the top of it, with his like big meaty right hand. And the box is small. It's not just small by comparison of his hands. Honestly, you probably wouldn't have noticed it at all if you weren't looking directly at him, just because of how he's holding it. It's very much almost hidden in his grasp.
Gotcha. Am I able to determine from my vantage point or what type of box that is, or is it just like a box?
There is something off about this box. You could study it, or you could attempt a more arcane sort of approach for it.
Gotcha. So it does have some form of like mystical look to it then, yes?
Yes.
Okay, it does give off that vibe. If that's the
Oh,
case
yeah.
here, would I be able to attempt let me see here. Actually, I think I have items for this, don't I? Let's see.
Potentially.
Potentially, yes, I should say.
Guy has that box from Ghostbusters.
I'd like to try attuning to the field here. See if I can stretch out and feel what type of energy resonates from it. What specifically is off with the box here that seems amiss, shall we say?
Yes. Yeah, give it a risky limited, I'm going to say.
Risky limited.
Yes.
Well, this does potentially bear the balance of a crewmate's life on their hands. Would I be able to trade position for effect and move this up to desperate standard?
Most certainly.
Perhaps a bit more intense attunation, at the risk of potentially bad.
Oh, absolutely. If you're interested in a bonus dice, I do have a devil's bargain for you as well, though it's not one. Yeah.
All right. Well, may I hear the devil's bargain?
The devil's bargain for this particular case is the As our audience remembers from last time, the gentleman on the waterfront there is a gondolier. The devil's bargain is that this clock of his will advance 2 more ticks. He's going to be pulling himself up into the boat faster, and that will resume this sort of arcane conflict that is brewing, or had been brewing initially before before he was knocked off his boat.
Okay. So this is 2 ticks in the convinced clock?
The singing resumes clock.
2 more ticks in that clock.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, why not? I'll take the devil's bargain. All right, so that's going to be desperate standard with 1 bonus die then, I do believe.
Interesting. All right, let's take that to die.
All right, well, let's see what the dice say. Hey!
Solid. Didn't need it, but solid indeed. So yes, so you reach out to the ghost field, and explain to me how Quetzal works through the ghost field.
So Quetzal's eyes end up closing here. As they start to close, they become a little bit more red tinged around the iris here, a little bit more deep, a little bit more vibrant. But as he closes his eyes, one of his hands just slowly and barely reaches up here. You can't really tell unless you're right on him, just due to the mass of people that are around him, where he's concealed and with his coat. And he mainly reaches out to see if there's anything he can feel with it. Intuition is really the order of the day here. What feels off with it here, specifically?
Yes. So you reach out and you reach for that feeling, and you get that feeling. It's a very physical feeling, as well as a sort of emotional one as well. You get this sensation of crawling, but on the inverse. Instead of moving forward and moving out, it's like crawling inward, almost pulling, but with that sort of spindly, spider-like touch to it. And the feeling, the emotion that honestly gets echoed in your own gut as you touch it is hunger.
Interesting. Okay, so it's like a current pulling in, and it says hunger.
Doesn't say it so much
Well,
as
it doesn't say it, so it just that's the feeling you get. The feeling of hunger. It pulls you into it, and
empty-
it has the feeling of hunger. Okay, I gotcha.
Empty stomach growling feeling, yeah.
Yes. Fascinating. Quetzal perhaps slowly lowers his hand as he opens his eyes, and I don't think he's going to do anything specific yet here, but perhaps move slightly more off to the side here to get a little bit better of a position on the man, just in case. Still keeping his distance, perhaps. Still keeping his distance.
All right. Sort of. Yeah. So let me mark on the map sort of where this man would be standing then as well. So that little red dot right there would sort of be his, more or less his position in the scheme of things. You're likely close to the waterfront yourself as well there. All right. So, what is everyone else doing at the moment?
Go ahead.
All right. Okay, so another skit has happened, and I once again approach the front of the stage, and I address the crowd, and I say, why did the clown get suspended from his job? Because he was fooling everyone.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, limited effect on that one.
Oh my god, I hate how my role like effects are determined by your terrible humor sense of humor.
Yeah.
Well, we got a 4.
You got a 4. The crowd is unamused, particularly. Like a few of them break off from it, honestly, but it's not.
They couldn't leave.
Yeah, they can't leave. Well, no. It's one specific person can't leave, and I haven't named them yet.
One specific person? Really? I thought.
Yeah, hold on. Let me tell you what my ability is. As long as you perform before a crowd, it is unable to be dispersed, and one person you name in particular is too transfixed to leave. So some people can leave the crowd. It's just the concept of the crowd cannot stop existing. So like people can leave and come and go, but I haven't named anyone yet.
It's not like Luca could show up and like whistle everyone would go running. That's not with it. It would take a real direct action. I got you.
Yeah, that's an oddly specific ability, but hey, it works. Yeah, no, it's
a fun. I love the Peruvian playbooks. I think they're all fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that Yeah, so that's about what happens. There is that sort of kind of falling off of the crowd a little bit there.
It's fine. They just aren't.
Yeah.
I don't know what funny is.
They don't know what funny is.
An Akaros. There's
My
no
next
joy here.
time, the skit disperses and I walk up and I go, no, never mind. This isn't supposed to be a comedy game. Never mind.
I want to hop off stage real quick and see how everyone's doing. I guess I'm going to approach, if I can find Songbird. I'm going to see how she's doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, before you manage to approach, I do want to get an action in.
Oh, go ahead for it, yes.
So I did want to work a little bit on the convinced clock, since we're kind of missing our winning objective here. And it was something I was going to do last session before the gondoliers and stuff showed up. And I think I remember the thing of it. It was, since we're trying to recruit people, I think she goes up to, like, I guess kind of like essentially like the wives of sailors that are probably like in their own little huddle, and starts to like hand out flyers and kind of do the, oh, you lot are a bunch of fine women, and you know things much already. I mean, and I'm sure with your husbands always out, that it must get awfully lonely around and whatnot. I'm sure you would probably really appreciate this, people to be around and to listen to your concerns and have some understanding and whatnot with others. You should really give us a good listen.
Oh no.
Is he posting shit?
And like try to like dig in on their the lonely housewife feel that probably a bunch of them are stuck in.
Okay. Sounds like a sway roll.
Position effect?
Controlled standard. There's not much of a change in the crowd overall, I think.
Third. Any devils?
Huh. Those bargains for this.
They'll to let you know, if you haven't read already, you can use the transformations as a consequence or bargain if you think it would work again, be suitable.
Oh, really?
You could, since they are so different, that can be a thing.
I think it's an interesting idea, but I think I've got to go with something a little bit perhaps more standard. I'm going to start a clock called Resh Find You. Or Spot You, I chose. And it will have one ticket.
How big's the clock?
3 o'clock.
All right, I'll take that bargain.
Yes. So.
No, I will not push myself. I'll just do it with these 2 dice here.
You can only push yourself or take a devil's bargain.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, I could push for effect, but still.
You are correct, yes.
Yeah, we'll just go with these dice then. All right, there we go.
Not bad. The consequence here. I would say the consequence is adding another tick into this. Not so much for the failure of it, but rather the success. The women you're talking to are going to be talking about you as they sort of walk away. That woman, that blonde-haired woman, she was so helpful with all of this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we'll have to resist that.
Chatty Cathy's and whatnot. So they don't quite realize, of course, but
Yeah, we'll have to resist that. She's probably just, probably like as she's describing things and looking at the pamphlet, and she looks over and she goes, I just
Keep this on the DL.
Well, I'm trying to think of the how she would phrase it, but it's like,
What is a blood ritual?
Maybe you could
True.
something like we are aiming to be like an exclusive.
She'd probably just be like, oh, don't worry about my name or anything. When if you ever need to show up, just tell them that the maiden sent you, and care about your way. I'm sure you're busy. Don't worry about it. Just have her read it that later at your convenience. On those lonely nights when the men are about causing their little bit of trouble. So, resolve or insight with Matthew?
generally I leave this up to the players, but probably I shouldn't. That's a very interesting little point you make there. Unintentionally, of course.
Well, it'll be left to you. I'm just asking, what do you think would be more appropriate?
I would say that insight makes the most sense here to resist against. It's a consequence of being found out, after all.
I took 1 stress.
Oh, it's not bad at all. So I will tick this little dot away.
So yeah, after she, gets the women to hear her words and hands them the pamphlets and tries to convince them otherwise, then was it Rayford can show up if he wants.
Rayford. Remind myself.
Thanks.
Perhaps you could remind.
That's
He
Zax's
said he
character.
was
It's my
gonna come with it.
character.
Yeah.
Valuable
Yes,
character.
of course. I'm sorry. Yes. Go on.
I walk up as is this fucking Rogel Dorn, by the way, that you picked out in chat?
Who now?
The character with the face I'm using at the moment. You scrolled up like really high up, you'll just see. Then I was playing as him. That who that?
let me- if it's what I think it is, then yes.
Right below that GIF and right
Yeah,
above.
yeah, that is Rogel. Yes. Yes.
Rogel
the
Dorn
answer is-
looking ass.
it was funny to me.
I walk up. His temporary face doesn't matter. I walk up and
Oof.
say like, "Oh, what's the matter?" I kind of see if something's wrong with the songbird, if she's stressed about something, because she's kind of doing a lot of work by herself at the moment.
Well, I don't know. That talk was rather pleasant. The women were receptive, and they might be interested in hearing the words of the Harrowed Council. But there is some weird things going on. There's gondoliers showed up. They're currently swimming to the docks over there. She points over to where she plummeted their gondola into the water.
Yes, you do see he is almost out of the water now. Mostly, he's honestly just kind of drying himself off at the moment.
So there's them, and I don't know what that means fully, although probably nothing good. And I've asked Ketziel to deal with a not friend, an anti-friend of mine, over in the crowd over there.
Anti.
Yeah, that's sick.
So he doesn't get his hands on me. So it's there's kind of a little bit going on, and she brushes her hand through her hair. But I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. How about you, Rayford? You look like you were having fun in that performance. You were so happy.
I kind of quickly it looks like my face like throbs a little bit. It's like, yes, it's very pleasant, but holding this face for so long, it's a little much. But we should be able to handle these people if we are smart about this. We still need to put on finale to convince people to jailers and part of the whole Herald Council. This is just to remind the chat or the stream what my character's actual voice is.
Right.
But we should be able to handle this. Do they look like your anti-friend?
Well, what do you mean? Why would you look like him? He's not a good person.
Precisely the point. Why would a good person... Hold on, let me rephrase this. Exactly the point. If this bad person did bad things to good people, wouldn't they be upset at him?
Oh, that's sinfully delightful. I like that. You see her like face kind of come up to a smirk, and like the black tarry second skin almost seems to creep a little bit as if it's like going to emerge soon. And she goes, "Oh, no, that's really nice. But do it to them. Do it to the gondoliers. Make them mad at him."
Very intriguing. I will try my best. And where's your anti-friend at? I need to see his face.
So, the other side of the crowd. I've been staying over here because he's staying over there, and I don't want to be around him. He knows what I look like, so I'm on this side, and he's on the opposite side. The one there, the brow, and the weird posture, and overall just thuggish build.
Shit, okay. Oof. Okay. A question to the GM.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to change my face into this guy's face, I know I'm going to take 2 stress. If I want to change my face back to where it originally was, is that going to take more stress?
Oh, to just kind of drop your face?
Like,
oh no, you mean to ooh, that's a good. Let me have a look at your hit the little bell next to your ability there, so that we can all have a quick look at it. Twist your facial features. Ah.
Well,
yes.
The stress isn't for the face changing. That's the push yourself.
Yes. 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 That's exactly what I was about to say. Technically, you can sort of take on whatever face you want at any time, but the moment it has mechanical benefits, increasing potency, increasing effect, give you an extra die, anything like that, then you take the stress.
Okay, I'm not. It doesn't have to be perfect because my plan doesn't involve me getting close to the gondoliers. I just need them to at least see a vague look of his face. But I'm gonna try and move through the crowd and hide my face a little bit and change to this anti-friend. I love this phrase. And are the gondoliers like trying to get onto the dock, or are they like trying to get their coats dry or whatever as they're trying to get on dock, on dry land?
The gondolier is attempting to pull himself back into his boat.
Back into his boat. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the gondola guy, right?
Yes.
So he's a little bit down the ways.
He is.
I'm just gonna walk down the dock and like kind of act like I'm staggered and a little drunk. And I see him on the boat and I throw a bottle at him. I'm like, "Oi, you fucking head! You over there in your boat can't stand straight."
Interest. I like. Yeah, go for it, man.
Doesn't have to hit him. It has to be like at least get his attention to look over at this guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you sucking what? You fucking ashamed of yourself.
I like it. Yeah, go for the roll, man.
Oh yeah. That's what I was waiting for. What do I roll for this?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. What is your goal here with this action?
I'm trying to gain his attention. So,
Try to get his attention, try to piss him off, try to make him hate this guy, right?
yeah, try to hate this guy. Like, this motherfucker throwing his beer bottles at me.
Go with either... Like, an argument could be made for finesse, since you're throwing something here. But with the greater action here being to influence him, I go with sway, honestly.
Perfect.
Yeah. That'd be my call, anyway. The other players have, like, another opinion on that.
Oh, I have nothing in finesse, and I have 2 in sway, so I'm picking sway.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Let's so to kind of go back over everything you have here. You have your Dawson sway. You now have you've pushed yourself to use this ability. So you've taken 2 stress from that for additional die or additional effect. So let me tell you ahead of time, I guess. You're looking at controlled limited.
Control limited. Or with the extra dice.
You go with the extra dice, really?
Yes, because where's limited at? Is limited gonna be like, even if I have to roll really good to get his attention?
So limited is you're going to get like the not necessarily I would say bare minimum of attention from him, but it's like less than maybe you were hoping for. Like, he won't start rowing over to you, for example, to just kind of angrily shake his fist. That's not exactly what's going to happen here, but just a sort of the example of what that will be. Now, here's the thing. As Ketchel demonstrated earlier, you can trade position for effect. By putting yourself in a worse position, you can gain greater effect. You can only do it once. You can only trade that once, but it is another way to gain effect.
Ooh. What would that be for my character if I put myself in a worse position? Him getting over there faster?
Putting him in worse putting himself in a worse position. That's a good question. Yeah, that's actually a very good question to ask. How would your character make this riskier, but to gain greater effect for it?
Either the crowd kind of draws their attention away from the show, which I don't want to happen. They kind of look at me, drunk and staggered, and then
make an even bigger scene of things.
Yes, that might be worse. That, or he gets there faster, or he just casts a fucking spell at me. I don't know which one he's doing.
Could be.
But
it is up to you if you want to trade position for effect at all in first. And if you have any other abilities and whatnot, you could even use some items to gain greater effect as well if you can do anything like that.
Really? So I have to give greater. We good for this.
Increased effect, I should say. Great effect is already a thing.
No, I mean that's what I meant. A greater effect.
Yeah, my apologies. Yes.
Oh my god, what would be good for that? Or to get his attention? Don't want to shoot a gun.
Oh no! You say you don't want to shoot a gun?
I was looking through, I was like, what makes a loud noise? A pistol. Like, no, that's not gonna help.
Consider something perhaps like arcane implements, perhaps. Perhaps you have some kind of esoteric thing that could draw this man's mystical attention. Granted, it's not going to be too extreme. You have fairly bog standard occult stuff as a regular item, but it is up to you could say come up with something that isn't listed there.
While he's thinking, Morik, you didn't give me the progress on the convince clock from my roll.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, let me have a look at that. That roll was the 2 and sway. Yeah, that'll be 2 more ticks into it with a standard effect.
All right, thank you.
My apologies. Thank you for pointing that out.
Can I? So the italics things, those are items that I don't necessarily have to mark off.
Yes. Well, the italics items you mark as having been used, but they don't count towards your load.
Awesome. Okay. Can I, for example, throw something of trance powder to make it look like I threw like a magical grenade at him or something? Just to be like, what the fuck is he throwing at me? Like, I just want throw it at the water, it makes this little this smoke. This.
Yeah. No, I like that. That would definitely, yes. Yeah, go for it, man. I like it. I do like the sound of that.
Does that boost my effect?
Oh yeah, I'll say that puts you up to controlled standard.
Controlled standard. And I get a bonus dice for pushing myself.
Yes.
Okay. And good. This be good. Decent.
Not bad. Let me see here. So, oh man, I really don't want to do it, but I think the best thing here is to say your complication is simply a reduced effect.
Shit.
Let me think about this for another moment, though.
This is for distracting the gondoliers because he's going up all.
Oh yeah, fucking.
Maybe the consequences they shove him into the water. They just try to get him out of the way.
Throw you in the water.
Yeah, they're just gonna shoulder you out of the picture.
I mean, they gotta get on land first.
No, they're on the docks.
Oh no, they're still in the boat, man.
I throw something at them. I did. If they were on the docks, I would have been like, I was still would have thrown something.
They came out. We're drying off. Like the gondoliers, all the people that
they're drying off in the gondola.
Oh,
the gondola.
In the gondola. I thought they were on the actual docks part, and they were just. Oh.
I apologize. No. I'm not making that clear. Yeah, I like that though. I do like that in a sort of roundabout way. So, yeah, you will. So here's what happens here, Mr. Raper. As you are doing this, as you shout, you throw, you talk, you shout, you berate this guy, you throw this thing at him, and it creates this almost teal aquamarine colored puff of smoke as the trance powder reacts with the water. With the weird brackish ink water of the docks, because it's where the natural river water meets with the inky mess of the void sea, so it's strange. If anyone can ever go to a sound with a brackish water mix, it's really kind of interesting, a little experiment. But that's a brief aside. You hear this voice whispering in your head. It's give me one moment. give me 1 moment. Here. We're all about you, Mr. Ash. Don't worry, we'll be coming for you soon enough. We are not what we're here for right now. So kindly shove off. And you feel a kind of serpent-like, not serpent. You feel like there's 2 hands that grasp around your ankles and pull you back down. Feet first, into the water.
Oh, you bastards.
You can resist to this concept.
Oh god. This has to be a physical action, though, isn't it?
No. Not necessarily. It could be. You could resist it with physical, but there's nothing visible grabbing your legs.
Kind of just want to. Oh god, how am I going to switch this to resolve? Because resolve, resist, I get 4 dice, and the rest of them, if it's inside, I get 2, and prowess, I get 1. I want to turn it to resolve. It's gonna keep yelling at them and be like, "Oh, hey, go over here, just setting all that boat. You think your men sitting over there, sitting and waiting, not doing actions? Why don't you come over here? Come over here and face me like a man."
How does yelling at him prevent this strange, unseen force from pulling you into the water?
If it's coming from them, I'm assuming they'll get distracted by me continuing to yell at them. Just like, is he seriously still doing this shit, even though we talk to him that way? And that's not gonna work, is it?
I'm not seeing the logic behind it, no. I'm afraid not.
See, because I gotta figure out a way to make him talk. Shit. Wait, hold on. Is a tone a part of this? This tone is resolve. That is. You said it was like is it a spiritual thing or just whatever the fuck? How does the magic work in this game?
Magic works by bullshit. That's my answer.
Okay, so
yeah, essentially, yes. You see nothing grabbing your legs, but given
so if it's an attune roll, I can switch this to. If I figure out a way to make this like into an attune roll, the resolve.
Attune does fall under resolve. You can remember that.
I won't see if I can whisper. Can I see this shit? Since I have skills in attune.
Someone actually, now think about it, someone could try and resist for you if I remember the rules correctly. Someone can try to essentially protect you. Am I right? Or
yeah, I don't think I've got RP justification to do so, but yeah, I don't.
No. I was thinking more on the lines of Songbird herself.
Yeah.
Wait, we didn't pick that fucking ability yet for the group.
That's for teamwork actions. That's not for resists. Yeah.
I just thought if we had that ability, we could have used it.
Something mysterious is grabbing him.
Unseen, mysterious, yes.
Can I turn to look at it if it's like a unseen thing? Like, can I use a tune to see if I can see it?
I mean, I think I can just resist it. I think she probably, since she's still around that area and probably watched you head over, I think Songbird at least in the ghost field, sings a little, has a bit of a soft tune that she plays, and it kind of frazzles and maybe deters this weird mysticism that's grabbing him and trying to pull him under. Like a ripple in the ghost field.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Go for it, man. And to answer your question there, Rayford, yes, you can attune to attempt to see it.
Ow.
Ooh.
I'm not resisting again for you.
I'm sorry. Are you about to hit a trauma? Because I am about to. I have 2 more stress.
I am now.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I was trying to weasel my way out of a. I was trying to find a good way to turn this to a resolve, but I couldn't.
Welcome to Blades. First time.
Yep.
Okay, we got to do a lot of vices when we're done with this. Does it work, or just what happens,
It's
GM?
resisted.
Oh yeah, no, it resisted. Like Songbird essentially sings, and you feel like this kind of you feel like you ever like grip something, kind of flex your hands around trying to get like a better grip. You feel that happening to your legs before the pressure finally releases. And like I said, you also can attempt to make a resist to see whatever's going on here. I'm sorry, resist a tune roll. Should you desire to.
I don't want to do it because I don't think they can know I'm doing this. It's like, alright, he's a fucking drunk. We'll beat his ass after this. Guessing their attention's like, alright, did the thing, now back to them, and Summer deflected it, they didn't see it.
That makes sense. That does make sense. Very well.
So they're under assumption I'm falling in the water right now. What is my position for the attune? Hitting questions tonight, boys.
Yeah. I'm gonna say risky standard. Yeah, definitely risky standard. Yeah.
Boom. 5. Was that a minute ago?
Shame. Yeah. So you see it. And so how do you look through the ghost field?
Do I look through the ghost field?
Yeah, like what's your manner of sort of reaching out into that sort of energy?
I would imagine. What would be the best way? I mean, I used to live in Tekaro, so this shit is probably normal. Guesses he will quickly oh god, it's gonna change my stress again. I quickly change the color of my eyes to like this dark purple, this demonic type ding.
Oof, yeah, no. Doing something like that's going to give you 5 stress. No. No.
Let's say I have to be
You're fine.
Okay, good. It's like a cat has 2 eyelids.
Yeah, I was thinking something very similar like that as well. I do like it a lot. It's kind of like this kind of pseudo blink, maybe you do.
Yeah, just very quick. They're too far away to notice it, anyways.
Yeah. What's the ghost that is now standing, well, rather floating before you, is not too far away to notice it.
I kind of turned to face the ghost, and I was like, "Oi!"
No, you're already facing it. It's staring at you, and you turn all right, as this ghost of a... Honestly, he looks like a drowned man. He looks like some poor, regular drunkard, honestly. Kind of haggard, kind of middle-aged in appearance.
It's me.
Soaked hair all over his face. And he's staring at you, kind of a scowl on his face. And here's the thing about ghosts. Ghosts... No one likes ghosts. Ghosts are supernaturally terrifying every mortal in this universe, Taikarosi or not. And so the consequence of this is immediately going to be, you're going to turn and you're going to run for your life in fear of this unnatural undead creature glaring you down.
Son of a bitch, where is Odo? Who will help me with this?
Who now?
The guy I was talking to last game, who likes fighting ghosts.
Oro, yeah, good old Oro.
Oro.
Yeah.
If that's the case, if I have to run away, I'm just gonna go and do a whole roundabout and get on the other dock on this side just to get away from it, but to still to antagonize these guys some more.
What side now?
I was on this side of the docks.
Yes.
And I'm just gonna go to this side to get away from the ghost and then go back to them. So I guess that's gonna take some time to do it.
Yeah. And kind of from the audience's perspective, we see the ghost fade out of existence as you turn and run. You don't run off screaming at the top of your lungs if you don't want to, but it's kind of like that cold kind of predatory panic. Have you ever been alone in the woods and feel like something's following you? Just kind of feel that urge to break into a sprint and get away. You don't scream bloody murder at the feeling of something being there. It's just like instinct kicks in. Survival. I have to go away. I have to get away. That's essentially what you go through. Say what now?
I can relate to this, but in a different way. Tell sucks.
Yeah, no, that is what happens to you. But you did overall succeed there.
If I can antagonize one good more time, they might be able to ignore the rest of the crew. Now, whose turn?
Let's check in with Ketzel.
Yes, Ketzel. Explain to me your plan.
Let's see here. Has Resh, I think his name is, has he done anything out of the ordinary since last he looked at stuff, or is he still just kind of keeping the same thing about, obviously looking about, but still just kind of mingling with the crowd so far?
Repeat that one time.
So has Rush done anything differently since last we checked in on Ketzel, or is it still pretty much the same old, same old? He's just amongst the crowd looking around for Songbird, presumably not really doing a whole lot else up to this point.
Initially, he wasn't amongst the crowd. He was standing separate from it, but he has moved closer to the crowd now, looking around as like this clock has been ticking up, and he's getting closer to trying to find her.
Okay, gotcha. He's a more burly individual, a little bit thicker than your average crowd goer, I do believe you mentioned, correct?
Yeah, no. It's like there's between a Homo sapien and Neanderthal, as Zal pointed out earlier.
Okay, gotcha.
He's noticeably sort of rough around the edges.
Okay, gotcha here. Dang, this puts me in a really tough position here, because normally I'd want to just keep an eye on him for the time being, but... What should I do here? Would I be able to perhaps approach closer to him, if I were to sort of strike up... He's moving in amongst the crowd now, you mentioned. If I struck up a conversation with some random goers nearby to spread the good word of the Harrowed Council, perhaps? Use that as an excuse to get closer to him. Still faded out in the background, but perhaps get within a couple of feet of him, I would say. If I were to speak with people, maybe 4 or 5 feet behind him.
I wouldn't really say you had any particular role that needed to be made to try to move closer to him, but if you want to wrap this into attempting to continue to work on that convinced clock, then absolutely, that sounds perfectly logical to me.
Sure.
In fact,
I'm not really... Yeah, I'm not doing anything super major, but I'm looking at setting myself up in case things go poorly. I'm in a position I can do something.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
Go for it. Yeah.
All right.
Because your main goal here is to get closer to
my main goal is to be as close to him as possible, so that if something goes wrong and he starts making a move, I can do something about it. I want to be close. I want to be behind him in his blind spot, and I want to be ready.
Without drawing his attention at all.
Hopefully without drawing his attention.
Risky standard.
All right. And so what type of roll would you think that this would be here, then, that I would be making? Would this be just... Perhaps a hunt roll if I'm, attempting to move in closer to him for something like so, or would you consider this?
Sounds like a prowl.
It does sound very much like a prowl. A hunt would work here, but I'd have to knock it down to limited effect.
I mean, hunt has a target, and you're going after a target. Hunt does.
Okay, hunt's more about gathering information and etc. about a person. Prowl is more about the physical movement. Okay, I understand. Yeah, that makes sense. I would say. We'll go with Prowl. Let's see. I am not very good at prowling. Do you possibly have a Devil's Bargain of sorts by chance?
Ah, interesting. Let me have a look at your character here again. Fortunately, one does not come to mind, I am afraid.
That's okay. Yeah, if nothing comes to mind here, what'd you say, man? Risky standard, I think you said?
With Prowl, yes.
Yeah, risky standard for Prowl. I'd like to push myself for an extra die here, then.
I go for it, my friend.
All right, let me bump 2 stress. We're going to do Prowl for risky standard with 1 bonus die. Yeet.
Yeah, unfortunately, that does not succeed. And yeah, he notices you, and he approaches to talk with you.
Okay. I think Quetzal sort of ignores him, at least for the moment, like pretends he's not there, pretends he's focused on spreading the good word with whomever he's speaking to on the other side here. Like he's very aware that his cover's been blown, but doesn't immediately react.
He's saying like "Hey" directly to your face. Like, I don't know who you talk to. Smart way to do it. Say, "Hey, I caught you." No, who are you talking? I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so he approaches you, and he begins to talk to you. Oh, you? You're talking about all this strange business I heard other folks talking about as well. Oh, yeah, you're here with the group here.
Quetzal kind of like turns to look at him as if like he was interrupted here and kind of gives him like the stink eye for a moment before like kind of turning to give him his full attention. Perhaps I can be of assistance to you this fine day.
Perhaps you can, good sir. My name is Resh McLean. I'm here looking for an old friend of mine. I had reason to believe she would be attending this little performance. Have you seen her? Blonde woman?
What does she look like, this friend of yours?
Yeah. Blonde woman. Kind of a Ruvian bearing around her, though I suspect she's Akaroshian by blood.
I cannot say such a person comes to mind. There are many here, perhaps she has abandoned as of yet. Friends are a luxury I can ill afford, I'm afraid to tell you.
You're right you are, how right you are. I have found that the best way to keep people in line is a combination of money and fear, but that's neither here nor there. Perhaps you could do me a favor, then. I could make it worth your while.
And what do you possess that could possibly be worth my while, sir?
Oh, same thing that's worth every man's while. Takarose or not. And he reaches into like his coat and he pulls out a a very fine, master-crafted velvet bag. He gives it a little shake. You could hear there's a substantial amount of money in there.
All this for a simple person.
Oh, quite. I've been looking for her for some time now. My reasons are my own, of course, but if you help me find her, I'd be more than willing to share further. He like gives a little bag and like a hearty jingle as he says that.
Surely you do not take me for a fool, sir. No one spends that much coin for so simple a task. If you wish to obtain my help, you must give me something more. The truth.
Truth now. And what makes you think I've not been honest with you?
Your honesty is not in question, but you harbor more than you say.
It sounds like we're getting to a roll territory here.
I would think so here, perhaps.
Yes.
I would believe at this point I'd be, I don't know. I'd be attempted to get more information out of him at this point. Perhaps a sway roll.
I would argue so. That sounds very much like a sway. I can almost see you attempting like intimidate him, talk him down here too, but it could swing either way.
I would think of it. I would think of it more as like it's more of a deception here. It's more of letting on that Ketsiel is interested, but he wants to know what he's getting into because he's not a fool. He knows that there's more than Resh is letting on. It's not. It's less about intimidation. It's more about tricking him. Let's put it that way.
Right? Yeah, I see. Less I know. It's more. I got you. I got it. Go for it. Yeah. I would say this is solidly in a risky standard position once again.
All right, I'm still in risky standard then. Let me trade that up. Let me trade position for a factor. I'd like to push that up to desperate great here. I'd like to put all my cards on the table for this.
Yeah, bold of you. I like it.
All right, so I would be up to desperate great now. Is there anyone nearby that would be able to assist me in this action by any means here, or am I pretty much on my own here positionally?
I could see, like, if I could see Bartholomew having worked his way into the crowd here. If he wants to interject, though, it would be a bit jarring.
That's fair. I'll take my chances. What's the worst that could happen, guys?
Double ones.
And this is how he died, everybody.
GG, good game.
This is how Blades ends, with thunderous applause.
I will say that you have, as you like reach to his hand, his coat to produce this bag, you did get a much better look at the box. It has yes, it is a very fine black oaken box lined with an ornate sort of it's not like there's a carved spider figurine on top of it or anything, but like the lattice work along it alludes to almost a spider-like silhouette in a way, with this strange black mirror oval black mirror oval sitting where the abdomen of the spider would be.
Gotcha. I want to push myself, but I don't have the stress. To heck with it.
Shocking, honestly.
Captain kicked her ass.
If anything goes wrong, I need to be able to resist. All right, screw it. We're just starting with one day. Let's. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, that's not the worst that could happen. It could have been worse.
That's not the worst that could happen. No. So there's going to be several consequences.
Yes.
This, of course. The first, let me just write these down so I can like organize my thoughts better.
No.
The first consequence is going to be Resh remembers. He's going to recall your face. He's going to recall your mannerisms. He is going to remember who you are and potentially attempts to seek you out. The second consequence here is that the box, it's not clawing at you, but it's sort of, again, like that weird inverse crawling kind of passes over you, and you feel a very how did I really put this? You feel like it's lingering with you.
Lingering.
Lingers kind of like on you, kind of like a gripping chill.
Okay, like a supernatural ghosty sort of chill, or just something different entirely?
Very much. Of course, you are a man of iron will, and you're not terrified of this, like our poor friend Rayford was.
True, but it is still felt. It is still present.
It very much is.
Okay, good to know.
And the last of these occurs when he smiles at you. Well, I see you are a man who is rather cunning, rather perceptive. Well, perhaps I did not play my cards as closely to my chest as I'd like. I'd like for you to come to my estate at 27 in Willow Street in Crowsfoot. We can talk further there. I'd be very happy to share everything I can with you there.
And so when he's inviting, this is like at face value. He's basically just proffering an invite at a later date, or like right now specifically.
Yeah. Later date is implied.
It implied to a later date.
Okay. Let me add on there. He said later in the week, perhaps.
Unspecified date. Okay, just not this immediate moment is the main point.
Yeah. He would specify a day as well. 1 second here. There's book stuff here. I should probably have pulled open. Yes. Yeah. So. Yeah. Perhaps. There's not book stuff here. Never mind. I was mistaken. Yeah. He gives you a later date. I apologize there. I thought
that's okay. No, my immersion.
I forgot there could be like really flavorful to this. But he gives you a date. He gives you a time. We'll make a tea party of it. Why don't we? You ever have a proper Agarosian tea? Quite good.
Perhaps.
Good. Not this sludge the commoners serve amongst themselves. Mind you. Proper tea.
I see you are a man of culture as well. Very well. In that case, you have yourself a gentleman's agreement. Well bargained and done. At this, Ketzel kind of reaches out his hand to shake hands with him on this.
Yeah, and he reaches out with his hand as well. He doesn't put the bag of money away, and he does it. You kind of like have this purse clasped between your two hands as you two shake, and like his hand like partially probably engulfs yours a little bit just due to sheer size.
Yeah, he's bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you notice that he has a very loose grip on the bag as you shake as well, almost as if he's inviting you to take it.
I'm going to after we shake hands. I'm going to remove my hand, but leave the money in his hand for the moment here.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna kind of. Mhm.
Go on, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, Tetzel just kind of like gives him a nod and like implies that like as a sign of trust, sort of like lets him keep his money for now here as a sign of trust.
Initially, he's very disappointed at that, but he sees an awe and his. For a man who looks very dumb, to put it bluntly, the smile he gives you is so uncannily intelligent. Almost looks like he became a different person for a moment there.
Fascinating.
I won't keep many secrets from you, though I still have business here. I am looking for her. She has something of mine I very much would like to have back. I worked hard for it. I've sought after it for many years of my life, and to have had it stolen from me, it hurts, frankly, and
If that is the case, perhaps we can work together in a way that will resolve this problem in a way that benefits us both.
Man about to betray the party.
yes, Rich is smile continues. He gives you a slight nod. Oh, I am more than ready to compensate you in a variety of ways, Mr.
Ketzial. You may call me Ketzial.
I should have expected something quite as interesting from a man of your caliber.
Life takes on an interesting appearance for those that have traversed beyond the veil, good sir. Perhaps one day you too will join me in this quest of ours.
That smile, that damn smile just continues on his face as you say that. Quite. I look forward to our meeting, Mr. Ketcher. You have a good day, and if you do see her about here, do let me know.
Most certainly.
He's not wandering off. He's not leaving the scene, but
Damn it.
I think it is safe to say that his curiosity has been somewhat
Sated for the moment. He has other things on his mind now.
it's been less. He has other things on his mind. He feels like he has someone else helping him look. It's kind of that. You ever get that situation where you have someone helping you look, so you look a little bit less hard for something?
Yep.
It's kind of that thing. It's kind of that he has going on with him right now.
Perfect.
So we can cut back to our little play here. And I will also say, Mr. Rayford, at this point, you've cleared the other side of the board. You've kind of, you're panting for breath, trying to catch your breath after your massive sprint across the field. And you can now, but you are calmed down. You are now able to resume your place in the festivities.
Am I back on the stage?
You can, if you so desire.
I think I have a good idea that I said pre-game to get that. Where's that clock go? Here, there it is. Against the crowd. Want to use an item.
Yes.
What's our actress name again? I keep forgetting.
The actress's name is right down here, actually. It is Miss Arzu.
I'll say before the play started, I want to give her a document. I'm going to mark that as my item. And the document is about a religious person. I'm not to say which religion, but it can be heavily implied that it's the Harrowed Council.
Ah, yeah.
It's kind of like those underdog stories, like, yo, you'll never be a great Leviathan hunter. It's like, oh, I'll show you. It's like, you're a coward. It's like, and he gets on the boat and he becomes a Leviathan hunter and he kills the Leviathan. He keeps his faith throughout his whole adventure.
I like it.
And it could
I very
be
much like it.
kind
So-
of just whoever. It's just one of those things. I don't know how the play is going to be. It's just a quick summary of what the play is about.
Yeah. Once again, we're going to be leaving this up to the Arzu's performance roll, which, because of your little stage notes here and whatnot, I'll say she gets a bonus dive, essentially from this kind of acting as like a pseudo assist on your part for her. No stress involved, though. And you are also more than capable of joining in on as a group action if you so desire. You and Bartholomew both.
I would imagine I'm playing the captain and she is playing like a new sailor who proves me wrong. One of those basic ass stories, but during this time, this is like breaking new ground.
Ah, yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it. Or perhaps with that proving her wrong, having that subtle hint of the Harrowed Council's backing behind it.
Yeah, like she might switch it up and saying like, "Oh yeah, my God's a very righteous one" or something. It keeps changing very so select like how we spread our religion. It's kind of like every so often it changed to God to gods.
I like it. I do.
You probably think they're typos, but no, they're not.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So, going to leave her to roll this on your own, or you wish to join as a group action?
Dude, I think I'll do a group action.
You would have to end up leading it if you did. I'm afraid. Well,
I'll be leading it. Oh
no,
God,
no. I'm going to say you don't have to actually.
I'm playing the assist. She's the star.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to try something here. Is that something you would do?
If it helps her roll better, then yes.
Excellent. Let's go for it then. Go ahead and give me a sway roll for this performance.
Just whatever position.
No.
Hmm.
What are we roll? What are we rolling beforehand? Let me 1 moment here.
I rolled 2 6s.
Risky standard again. Yes.
And boom. Oh no, come on.
All right. Unfortunately, there is not much to
Arzu
this.
is killing it though.
Arzu is
brought
doing very well. You are do. No one suffers any stress though. That is the important thing. And the clock is filled with a bit of a standard roll here. That said, though, the singing has returned and the performance is drowned out from this point forward. Now, to sort of recall it, if you wanted, you could have continued to press forward and try and go into like convinced 2 as a clock, but with the singing picked back up, that will become monumentally more difficult. And honestly, a lot of people have already been convinced, so it's more than possible that you guys could just say, we're done for the time.
Again, there's a lot of factors happening right now. Is this what the party wants to do? Because I'm how stressed all of our characters are at the moment. I think this would be a good point to kind of take a dip and just go indulge in vices so we don't panic.
Try and back out.
I mean, win condition's done. I think we're good. The
Fill the clock of the convince.
Clock is filled, those shall all be transferred, yes. Yeah, well, with that said and done, yeah, that'll take care of the score then. And I think where we sort of exit out is like the curtain falling. Resh is walking away from the scene. We see the gondolier still kind of sitting on his boat. The song is in the air, drowned out. Drowning out like the effects of your performance and whatnot. And eventually the group does also begin to disperse and go away as you all also do the same. So, payoff for this particular score, and then we shall hop into closing up for the night.
Hey.
Where are we? Here we are. I think. Yes. So, this score on... So you earn 2 rep by default, plus 1 for every tier above you your target was. With the target in this situation, I would say being the
That is in the array of the docks.
Yes, very much, which would be 2. So you earn 4 rep total.
Okay.
Very solid, very solid. Coin-wise, however, I don't think there's much to have been gained. You weren't really selling tickets to this, if I'm not mistaken. Look,
Yeah, we could have taken for the performance. Maybe some people like left it in like a bucket or something in front of the stage.
you know, that's fair. That's fair. Add 2 coin.
True.
For
I was gonna say they had like a
Add 2
donation
coin
box.
and then subtract 1 coin for Arzu's cut.
I like that. I do like that. Arzu's cuts, Arzu's payment for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Did
like
all
that.
the
I like
work.
that. Probably should have closed
Yeah.
that just. and still
That's how
need that.
Mafia works.
Need her later.
The performers are the most blessed of the flock of the laughing god.
Heat.
Yeah. I think I only have to go with 2 heat here.
Blue coats show up and be like, "Oh, you got a permit for this?"
More so, it's that there were people that talk about it. That actually, I was factoring in the conflict with the gondolier and Resh, but I'm gonna say 0 heat. Actually, there was very little that came out of this.
It's a small little soapbox. Oh,
Right, and
With that, yes, there is one other complication that does arise from here. Any further rolls, entanglements, and all, we will take care of at the beginning of the next session. But you all have dropped 1 faction status with the. I'm sorry, not the grinders. Or are they? The gondoliers.
I was about to say the grinders came out of nowhere.
Say what now?
I say the grinders came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I saw the
everybody
G. I got no. The grinders are fine. It's the gondoliers you have dropped, putting you at -2 with them as a faction.
okay.
What are they gonna do? Kill us?
Not yet.
We're working on it.
I have God on my side.
Power of God and anime.
I was about to make that joke. I was like, no,
No,
don't.
the power of God and comedy. Comedy.
Don't fuck with me. I have the power of God and comedy on my side.
Can you just imagine this little creepy guy just going, "I have the power"?
I mean, that's technically what's supposed to happen with He-Man, is it not? He's supposed to be like a real frail kid.
Yeah, I guess that's basically
You could say that.
Yeah.
So, that all said, though, we will be have to begin wrapping up for the night. So, let's go through experience.
All right, crew
Starting
first.
with the crew.
We still haven't picked an advance. Oh my god.
You have not.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Pancake,
Let me
what
start
are
off
you
with
interested in?
Unspent advances.
What are you interested in, Pancake?
I am very much eyeing. I'm trying to decide between conviction and glory incarnate.
We talked about Glory Incarnate. It was sort of the opinion that that'd make for a much more interesting narrative edition much later down the line.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. But I am very curious about conviction.
All right, we can do that. I was one I had Bound in Darkness and Conviction, I think. Or something
Yeah,
like
those
that.
two here. Bound in Darkness might be a better one to start with here, because that kind of creates like a good narrative. Like Bound in Darkness, that's more about making the cult. Conviction, it starts at Empowered. Glory Incarnate, it's reaching its maximum potential. So maybe Bound in Darkness would work as a good starting point. Yeah.
All right. Any objections? Just so we can finally pick something.
Hold on, UA teamwork. Oh, wait. It says cult member, not members. How y'all described it to me last time was like everyone heard this.
Every
I don't know what it was.
Every
By taking one
cultist.
stress, your whispered message is heard by every cultist. Yeah.
Taking one stress, your whisper. Oh wait, Hold on, this is confusing me. Use teamwork with any cult member, regardless of. Wait,
Yeah, it's not
We have a leader.
really a huge hurdle. I think we'll be fine to take it.
Yeah.
All right, so we can finally get rid of
I'm
that.
confused, but
All right. Advance the
Yes.
goals, advance the agenda of your deity, or embody its precepts in action. We advance the agenda. We recruit.
Very. Quite a bit.
Probably just the one, or do we think two?
you're very deceptive with our messages. That counts.
I feel like there's a lot of different individual instances of the different aspects of the Harrowed Council coming to fruition, so I'd probably mark it as two, since there was like one for the overall and then one for individual snippets here and there on like a per person basis, if that makes sense.
All right. Continue the challenges about your current station. At least the gondoliers.
Oh, yes, very much. Resh might be, but the gondoliers are absolutely certain. Take one for that.
Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one. Well, we weren't brutal this time. Business-like, kind of. We're pushing business-like for the next step.
You guys
Yeah.
think that would be fair?
Makes sense.
I'll put another ticket to our little business-like clock there.
And express the goals to lives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we're setting up a very interesting scenario with Songbird and Ketziel here, I do believe.
So those housewives you talking to. I don't know if that counts. I don't know if that's the right one.
So what now?
I don't know. I'm trying to. What? We're on Driver message, right? This is the one we're on?
Yeah, goals,
Yeah.
drives, conflict, nature.
Our cult, it is a very wide gap we can catch a lot of fish with experience.
I think it's kind of vague, but I think we got at least the one, which is fine.
Yeah, I would say so. That gets us to another advance we can give like another 2 weeks, and then we can figure out what to do with it.
Oh, that jab. All right.
Shit, we get another advance already.
I am putting a tick in the unspent advances clock. At 6, you all have to start a new crew, because I'm putting up with your shit.
How many advances do we have?
All
How many
right. So
advances do we
Yes, so moving on. Rayford,
all right.
your
Now
character.
hold on. What advances do we have available?
One.
Yes.
One.
Which is 1 special ability or 2 crew upgrades.
So wait, what would the crew? So the crew upgrades are like the layer training quality and cohorts thing, right?
Exactly. Yes.
All right. We already have hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. What if we upgraded our?
Let's think of ghost echoes. That's fun.
Let's ghost echoes.
It was from the Shadow Playbook. It was a special. Oh no, there's right there.
Let's talk about that.
Yes, added it in.
We can talk about the next advance after session. We'll keep dealing with XP.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's do
That's
keep
a
doing
good
XP.
idea.
All right, so for Songbird, adjust the challenge with. I don't think I had any desperate actions. I don't think so.
Only one of you did, I believe.
Yeah, mine
Yeah,
was,
it was,
controlled. Adjust the challenge with audacity or cunning. Did I get the audacity for the boat last session? Or did we hold off on that because we were still mid-score? I think I took it last session. So cunning still for the women, the housewives.
I agree.
And kind of delegating the party within that. That was I guess about it I can think of. Express your blue stars, heritage, or back down. Oh fuck yeah, all over.
Mm-hmm.
Talk with Dominix, the Resh problem, all that. No vice or trauma, so just the 3 XP.
All right, Rayford.
Okay, what are we doing?
Your experience.
All right. I did not roll a desperate action.
Unfortunately, not.
There is a challenge with desperate.
Yes.
Ed?
Absolutely, I'd say. Between influencing the crowd and attempting to deceive the gondolier.
Oh yeah.
Take 2, my friend.
Okay. Resolve is full now, and I'm gonna put that in sort.
Very nice.
And I got one more. I'm gonna put that in insight. Express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I think I'm keeping consistent with his idea of bad things should happen to bad people. Therefore, I'm gonna be a bad person right now. He took the face of that guy's face just to get him in trouble because he deserves it. Did that with a sailor, and I did it with him. That would count as a belief, or are we talking about the gods?
Oh, I think that's fine for a belief.
Is it consistent? It's starting to become consistent.
Sure.
Okay with the GM.
Oh, he's drifting on us. Mark.
No. I'm sorry. I'm thinking. Makes sense to me though. I'm putting notes down. I'm thinking about stuff. I think it makes a certain degree of sense for.
He's a good guy. He's just people don't like him.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Alright. That insight. And the issues of no, we didn't do any of that yet. Do that probably next session.
Possibly, yes. It is possible. But yep. You have managed to narrowly avoid traumaing out of a scene, which is fantastic.
Both
Mr.
me and Zhao.
I'm sorry.
I think a lot of people did that in this game.
This was a very stressful score for Wall, which makes sense. It was essentially a 4-hour score.
Yeah.
Mr. Ketchum.
Yes, I am he.
Yes. Go over your experience.
All right. I've already marked my desperate actions as I went along here, so that should all
good.
be taken care of here. Adjust a challenge with knowledge or arcane power. Yes, a situation with Resh at the beginning. To determine his box of sorts. I think that would be worth 1.
Yes, I would. I'm going to leave it up to you, but would you consider your calling his bluff using knowledge?
Given how much coin he was offering, yeah, I guess you could consider that to be. Yeah, maybe I guess that would be considered a point of knowledge itself here. Yeah, sure. I'll give myself I'll give myself an extra medal. Let's let that mean with. Let's see. I struggled, or I expressed my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. Yes, multiple instances of this with Songbird and with Resh individually here, I do believe. Specifically for beliefs and heritage, though. I would say that'd be worth 2. And last but not least, there's a situation with it struggled with issues from vice or traumas. What's my vice? Faith. Technically, character was late because of getting stuck in meditations with his god. Would that be considered struggling with an issue? Or is that a little bit too metagaming?
Run that by me one more time.
would being late to as a character late because of getting stuck with meditations or whatever excuse I used, would that be considered struggling with an issue of vice, or is that kind of pushing the boundary a bit much?
I wish I could say yes, but yeah, no, I think I'd have to say that's pushing it. I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's a bit greedy of me. That's okay.
Okay, it's
I'm good
okay.
with what I got. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, I am done.
Yes, that leaves only Boo Boo.
Hello. I kind of was just chilling this session, but I told some
Yeah,
funny
I do
jokes.
apologize.
No, that's completely fine. You know what? I'm okay for just hanging out and telling my jokes. For that, I get 1 experience point.
Yes.
Did you express your beliefs with giving that lady the coin, saying that
I was
your
I was
god
I was
loves
gonna
that?
give myself 2 experience points, but I don't know if we actually did that or not. If we did, I'll give myself a 2nd one.
Give her the coin?
Yeah, did we give her the coin?
Oh yeah, no, Zal ticked it off. Go for it.
All right, then sweet. I'll take the experience for that too. Then.
Yeah, I like the idea of having, because it is your contact, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
It's your friend, yeah. So I've also noticed, just one last aside here, I have marked a new clock for you all. Arzu becomes a friend of the crew, so she will sort of evolve into a crew contact as well as your own personal contact.
We can start promising personal, we can start hosting like play nights at the cult hangout.
Essentially,
Come to watch the great Arzu perform.
ritual murder.
Blades in the Dark Shakespeare's.
Divine comedy.
Blades in the Dark Shakespeare is actually just called Stab Knife.
Stab knife.
That's a really. I gotta write that down.
Come see
Come see Stab Knight's world famous play, Small City.
No, come see Small City. God damn it. That one almost flew over my head. I almost didn't.
I'm so glad you caught it.
I only caught it because I was Googling Shakespeare plays to make my own joke.
Beautiful. But we will continue our little debate here after the stream has ended. Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you kindly for tuning in. Thank you for being an audience to our most magnanimous of shows and our most illustrious host, Zal. Thank you once again for both being here, letting us use your channel to host this, and being here, being a player of most interesting characters in this game. I am looking forward to what I can do with what you have given me to play around with. As to everyone else, subscribe to Zalkari, drop him likes, drop him favors. Drop it. Ruining my speech here, Pancake.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Drop him whatever you can in Twitch. Just go and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Follow us, like us. Have a great night, everyone. I will see you all next week for Blades and for Star Wars.
StarCraft.
And Friday
Star
for
Wars.
StarCraft.
Next StarCraft, I was about to say. And later this week for StarCraft.
God,
and then also next week for Star Wars again.
Have you guys...
All the stars. Good night, folks.
Stars without
Star
number.
Trek game.